Hey guys, did you know that the things that you eat can actually affect how you feel as well? If you've ever heard the term, everything starts in your gut, it is true. So when we eat certain foods, like, um, lots of fast food or processed foods, or even a high protein diet, which, a lot of animal protein tends to be the norm for this society. From, I don't even know when, but I know whenever I was a kid, you get like a big piece of meat and then you get a bunch of little sides or a couple little sides around there. And that's what we ate. And that's pretty much what you ate for every meal, meat. Animal protein was the base. And now we have so much processed foods because, in this society, this American dream, as we call it, everybody is hustling and working, you know, paying bills for this material world here. So, not everybody has a whole lot of time to do home cooking like, our great grandmothers did back in the day. You're probably going to stop off and get you some fast food on the way home, or, you got a few boxes of some easy mac and cheese or red beans and rice or whatever, something very easy that doesn't take a lot of time to make. Some canned green beans, whatever. So all of this, the processes that they use, the chemicals that they use, it all, and just the more processed it is, the harder it is on our body. In order for us to be in our natural state, or as close to our natural state as possible, we need to have almost fresh from the earth foods. You know, the more in its natural state our food is, the more in our natural state we are going to be. So all of this will affect how you feel. And then if you believe in energy transfer, which I would recommend looking it up if you've never heard of that, it's basically how the animals, when we eat animals, we actually, the energy, their feelings actually get transferred to us through the meat as it gets consumed. So, in my opinion, there's really no humane way to slaughter an animal. I mean, the animal may have lived, if you get, a nice farm, the animal may have lived a wonderful life. But then there's the process of, killing it for its meat. And so, the animal's probably scared. And if it's in like a factory farm, which the majority of the food that people eat are from factory farming, the animals are going to be very scared. They're going to be sick because the conditions are just not very pleasant. So then they're going to fill them full of, antibiotics or whatever in order to keep these animals alive so they can, make money off them. And then sometimes they plump them up with some fillers. We eat all that. And that is going to affect us how we feel. So that's definitely one thing you want to look at if you're feeling, very intensely in that aspect. Maybe cut out. I'm not saying you can go full vegan, even though I will tell you that I feel amazing. As long as it's not like a junk food vegan. You need to actually cook your food or go raw vegan. That's what's best for me. But definitely I would recommend cutting down at least a few nights a week and see how you feel. If you start noticing after you eat meat, you have more aggression, or you feel more down, or even lacking energy, there's your sign. There's plenty of documentaries that you can check and see on how that can make you feel, being a meat eater compared to a vegetarian or a vegan. This whole video is not going to be about veganism. I just wanted to make that point. So, as well, you want to look at really anything that you can't pronounce. You can look it up and check it. But even things that you can't pronounce is still kind of questionable. You really want, like I said, fresh fruits and vegetables are the best option. Anything that creates mucus is going to create disease in your body, or inflammation, which meat, gluten, any type of dairy products, even rices. And my family comes from, pretty much any non-European country. We are rice eaters. Europeans are more bread and potatoes, but any other places is based on rice, because first off, rice is probably pretty easy to grow and it's cheap. May not be the most nutritious, but you can fill up on it and you're going to be sustained. So my dad is actually from the Gambia, and that's in Africa. So almost every time we had dinner, there was rice, and I've grown to love rice. My oldest daughter loves rice. So that is one of the harder things for me to get rid of. I do still eat rice sometimes, because you can pretty much make anything and eat it with rice. But I do notice after I eat rice, my face is puffy, like I'm retaining water. So I'm slowly cutting it down. I really just want to go back to being raw vegan, a fruitarian in a sense. Now that I'm able to do that a little bit easier now, I'm not having to cook for loads of people. But yeah, so I know a lot of children have been diagnosed with ADHD. That's been going on at least since, maybe the 80s or the 90s, whenever I was a child. And parents, just follow their doctor's orders and pump the child full of Ritalin. That was the answer at that point. And it still is kind of the answer as to, what the doctors believe. But if you look at what you're feeding your child, first off, cut out dyes, cut out processed sugars and starches, or at least minimalize them. Then you've really got to figure, we are not supposed to be sitting for long periods of time. Our attention span is going to wander. We're going to get antsy, even as adults, even people that, sitting at desks all day. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. We are supposed to be active. A body in motion stays in motion. We're supposed to be active. We're supposed to be having fun and running about and, doing physical work. And especially children who have tons of energy and are exploring their environment. You mean to tell me that them sitting in classrooms for 6 to 8 hours a day is causing ADHD, it's causing ADHD. That's, whatever you want to call it. They're going to get antsy. They can't sit still. They can't pay attention because they're not supposed to be sitting for long periods of time. they need to be able to get up and run and learn by doing, not being forced to, read about the Civil War. I don't know if they do that in elementary school, but, and then if you actually do even more digging, you'll find out that the medical industry is pretty much tied in. Schools will get money for each child that is on a medication or with a disability. And then a lot of the doctors, they are pushed to write these prescriptions. Now in my case, my child's doctor, who had prescribed this because the school wanted me to give him a packet, he didn't even look at the packet, didn't ask me any questions. Just because I said that the school thinks he has ADHD, he immediately wrote the prescription. So that's kind of what sparked this whole revolution for me anyway, and seeing beyond what is going on, because I've always been a questioner, always. If things don't make sense to me, just because somebody else is doing it or somebody told me to do it, I'm not going to go along with that. So it needs to make sense in my eyes. It needs to feel good to me. So I went ahead and filled the prescription. I never gave it to him. I just started reading the insert in the packet. And then I started doing more digging on these medications and the problems that they cause. So, yeah. Anybody that has been questioning any of that, I would definitely check into it. But yeah, I slowly stopped going to doctors. But with my son, this is before I went vegan, I just started, upping his omega-3s. Mainly I used fish oil, which, I don't even know how I got him to take that because the smell of that stuff was intense, but it did help. And it also helped with him having more one-on-one with the teacher, but still the traditional school environment is just not healthy for children. So I recommend, if you are able to, provide them with a better schooling environment where they can explore and use critical thinking instead of just following along and doing what they're told. That does not create a healthy mind. It doesn't create a healthy environment. It's the STEAM schools, I think is what they're called, or even ones that, they're in nature, like nature-based schools, are really excellent for children because everybody is different. Everybody learns in a different manner. Some people learn more by doing. Some people learn more by, reading or hearing or even watching others. So if everybody is unique, why are we using the same education-based way to teach? It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The American school system hasn't really changed much since when it started, if you think about that. And wouldn't it be a little bit better if we learned things that are actually useful, that help us grow as people or highlight our skills or our talents, instead of, what we've been taught? I mean, there's a few things in there that are helpful, I'm not going to lie. I did enjoy certain classes, possibly because of the teachers, or because I had friends in the class, I don't know, but it's been a while since I've been in school. But it's definitely something to think about. Once you go down the spiral, there's so much, and you're just going to start seeing more and more. And your first reaction is probably going to be anger. And then, you know, you're going to want to try to tell everybody everything, and people are going to think you're nuts. But you just got to wait. I have found you have to wait until you are asked. Otherwise, they probably will not retain the information. They're going to just completely shut it out. You can't push your ways on anybody. You have to let them find out for themselves or become inquisitive and figure it out. We actually teach others by doing. So when we're leading by example in a sense. So they're going to start noticing, oh, well, they are healthier. Their skin is always glowing. They're always energetic. I wonder what they're doing. Or, you know, that's what I have found. But definitely look into your food, your environment, the people you're around. All that stuff is going to affect you. You're going to have to probably change some things if you want to be healthier and happier. And if your gut is not in the right working order, then your mind is not going to work right. You know, it's all connected. If you have any questions, I am definitely here to help in any way. So please feel free to send me messages or any comments, and I will be happy to assist. I just want to see everybody healthy and happy and completely abundant and living their best life, because it is our birthright. We're not supposed to be in a suffering state, and that is mindset. And a lot of times people, they say they want to be healthy, but their subconscious will hold on to that sickness because maybe they're getting the attention that they had craved before, or it's keeping them from going to, have to go do something. Or who are they without this sickness? We don't realize sometimes that we're holding on to this, but you can let go of your illness at any time. So I know that sounds crazy, and it sounds, like, well, I've got this uncurable disease. So if you think that this is uncurable, then it's definitely uncurable. There's been plenty of miracles that have happened where people's cancers have just disappeared, like no sign of it. We are supposed to be in a godlike state. We are supposed to be perfectly healthy and happy and abundant and just manifesting and bending energy. But when we have a fear-based mind that actually holds that illness in our body, and when we believe these doctors, or if we're around a lot of sick people, we're more likely to pick up on their illnesses and then manifest something of our own. And also holding negative energy in our body manifests into physical symptoms as well. And then they're going to put you on a medication. That medication is going to alter your body, and it's going to keep your body from healing itself properly. And then it's going to create a whole new set of problems that you have to get a whole another prescription for. And it's just going to complete the cycle, the cycle's just going to keep going. So I'm not saying all doctors, but good majority. And it's not like other, okay, so my opinion, or what I feel, they go in to this profession because they want to heal, they want to help people. But they're just doing what they think is best, just based on what they have been told or what they were taught to believe. And so they never really look any further. And so if you notice, the only way for them to heal you, or not even heal you, because really it's not healing you, is it? But is to put you on prescriptions, to do surgery, or something along the sort, with cancer it would be radiation and chemo. There's other ways to treat. You got to treat the actual root cause and not the symptom. The symptom is just the body's way of pushing this out of you. And then you stop that symptom, you stop the body from doing what it naturally does, and it's going to harbor and grow and just become worse than it already was. You block something, where's it going to go? It's not going to go away. And, you just got to start doing your own digging, take these doctors' words however you want to take them. You don't have to listen to them. You don't have to go to them. It sometimes is good to possibly find out what it is that is wrong with you, and then you can use other techniques to heal yourself. There's books, there's videos, there's plenty of documentation. Ask the universe. The universe can give you a sign. It can show you the way. When I'm a very avid book collector, because like I said, I am thirsty for knowledge. I love finding out mainly ways to help people or help myself, healing. These are the main things that I've been drawn to lately. So I used to go and pick up a lot of cheap books in different places, and I wouldn't always get to read them right away. I just pick whichever book calls to me at that time, then I want to read it. So I had these set of books. Oh, hold on, my hummingbird is back. I've had this hummingbird come and visit me for like five days in the past week, and he just hangs out and buzzes so close to me. I feel very blessed with that. But okay, so with these books, I would just go to what calls to me. And I had some books sitting, because I ran out of bookshelf space. I had some books sitting on one of my little tables, and I happened to be propagating a plant at that moment in a little vase sitting there as well. Well, one of my little pussycats knocked it over and got all the books wet. So I was, had the books sitting open, I think on the floor somewhere, drying out. I had the books wide open, trying to dry them so they wouldn't be ruined. And I think a day or two later, I got a call about my, dad. They found cancer in his stomach. So obviously I was kind of devastated. even though me and my dad never really had the best relationship, at some point we had just started to heal. I just started, you know, giving him my love, and I forgave him. I'm sure he had his own trauma that he was working through. That's a whole nother story. But anyway, so I was trying to occupy my mind. I hadn't fully processed it yet. It was literally only like an hour later, and I picked up those books to put them away because they felt dry. The first book that I picked up was literally about a cancer cure, quote unquote, from this lady in Canada that she had found this herbal remedy that was treating all types of illnesses and diseases, mainly cancer. People that had, stage 4 cancers that they were, close to death. She was able to turn it around until the government in Canada found out what she was doing, and then they tried to first buy her recipe from her, and then they shut her down and said if she heals anybody, then they would take her recipe and then she would be sentenced to prison. And then people were still going to her under the table, and then they told her that she would have to work with them, or I think is what it was. It's been a long time since I read this book. But, and then she can only use this remedy on people that had already exhausted other options. So after, when they're basically literally about to die after doing chemo and radiation, then they can go to her. But at that point, the effects of the chemo and the radiation were so strong that not everybody would make it. And then they would blame her remedy if the person died. So she ended up working around it. If anybody's interested in this book, I can give you it. If you would like, send me a message. Or give you the name of the book. But I just thought that was amazing, like the universe knew what I needed right then and there, and it gave it to me. I mean, I technically already had the book, but that book could have been sitting on my shelf for years, possibly, before I got to it, because I have that many books. So you just have to look around, ask the universe for a sign, or look around and just pay attention, because there's signs all around you. The things that you needed to hear or know are there, but if you're in a low state, if you're eating a lot of things that are going to keep you down, you're probably not going to notice. You're not going to be open to it. So if you want your life to be more glorious, just take care of yourself better. Take little steps. You can even ask the universe to help you relieve yourself of, certain symptoms, or help you get healthier, help you not have, what is the word that I'm looking for here? Where you're addicted to something and you withdrawal symptoms. Thank you. Withdrawal symptoms. You can ask the universe to help you feel them as intensely, and you'll know when you're ready to let things go. You're more likely to relapse or go back to certain things when you try to cut it all off at once. Unless you feel guided to do it, I would not recommend it. And this is a life or death situation, then probably would. But just take things slow and feel guided. Like when I started changing my diet, it was little things at a time. Just one little step healthier than what I was eating before. Like I used to, because I worked, 50, 60 hours a week. I didn't eat the healthiest, and so I was always on the go, always in a rush. I would stop and get me McDonald's sandwiches in the morning. Give me like a sausage McMuffin or bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit or something. And so I slowly, once I decided to get healthier, I started switching to bagels in the morning. I would make myself a bagel at home with Nutella sometimes. I really love Nutella at that point. So, I mean, even though it's not healthy, it was healthier. So just little things. Just make little changes. That's all you got to do. Take steps, and the universe will keep throwing you another stepstone. The universe will help you in your journey. You just have to take one little step in the right direction. You will be guided. And sometimes things are not for you, so you're going to redirect, and that's okay. Don't be hard on yourself in that situation, okay? You just have to listen to your body. You have to listen to your soul. And if you're not sure, ask questions. Or, you can find somebody to help guide you, to help be a mentor or a coach. There's plenty of them out there, and not everyone is going to resonate with you. You have to find somebody whose energy feels good to your energy. If you don't feel comfortable around them, then it might, if you just have weird feelings, then they might not be for you. You can find somebody else. But there's so many people to help you, and if you have the mindset where people naturally want to help you, because we are one, we are all connected, you're going to have people helping you. And if you're a helper as well, more people are going to want to help you. But if you never want to help, if you only want to do things for yourself all the time, then you're going to have less help. People want to help the helpers. People want to assist the helpers. So if you're not here to help people, then you're going to have a harder time on this earthly plane. But yes, if you need, find you somebody to help motivate you, help, keep you on track, or even ask you questions. Because you really actually already know, and sometimes when we're asked questions, it helps bring it out. You can ask yourself questions if that helps. Everything that you need is inside of you. Everything. The answers you seek, the values that you're looking for in other people, they are in you. You just have to release the ones that are not. The ones that we have been conditioned to have. Everything is happening for you. What seems like is not working out is actually working out. The universe always has grander plans than what we think, because our ego gets in the way. So just let go of control and surrender to the universe, because it is always there to help you. God, the creator, the divine source, our spirit guides, angels, and our higher self. Everything is here for us on this journey. We always have help. Always. Don't be afraid to ask, because they love to help. Just make sure you're grateful. Grateful for what you have, and grateful for their help. Have a lovely day, guys.